Welcome to episode 3 of the BullensMagic Podcast alongside Rebecca Osowski. I'm Seth Dussault, the voice of the Westfield Starfires. We've got Brendan Jones coming onto the podcast today. He's a Arlington, Massachusetts native, College of the Holy Cross product, and he's a middle infielder for the Starfires in his first season here in Westfield. And Rebecca, I know you've gotten a chance to see him play a little bit since you've come back from your vacation, and it seems to fit right in with a team that's doing very well to start the season.
Oh, yeah. I think he's been I've seen one game. I think he's been an important part of what the Starfires are trying to do. So I'm interested to see what he has to say about his success and the overall team success as well.
8-3 to start the year. So before we actually get to the interview with Brendan, how nice is it to be at the top of the standings early on?
Oh, it's so exciting. I think we've talked a lot in our past episodes about how we missed those playoffs by one game last year. And I think that really hot start is going to be important to push us over that threshold this year.
8 wins out of the first 11 games in a 64 game schedule. And the man you're about to meet is a big part of that. So let's get rid of any further ado and get to talking to Brendan Jones from the Crusaders of the College of the Holy Cross. Welcome to episode 3 of season 1 of the BullensMagic Podcast. I'm Seth Dussault, the voice of the Westfield Starfires, alongside Rebecca Osowski, and joining us now from the Starfires is middle infielder Brendan Jones, College of the Holy Cross product, coming to Westfield. Brendan, how you doing today?
Good. How are you? Happy to be here.
Certainly glad to have you on board, and it's been a lot of fun watching you play this season, and obviously the team's off to a great start. So let's go from the beginning, though, rather than starting in the middle. How did you first get into playing baseball?
When I was a kid, my parents would always have just like a bunch of like toy balls around their house. And I think ever since I was like 1 year old, my mom knew right away I was going to be a baseball player, because I would just throw the ball to her across the room and they'd all be surprised at how strong of an arm I had. And from that moment, my mom always knew I was going to be a baseball player.
You started playing really young, like you said. Who has been your biggest supporter through your baseball career and why?
Biggest, I would have to say it got to be 50-50 with both of my parents. You know, my mom and my dad, they do anything for me, driving me all over the country for baseball. Early mornings, going to camps to get recruited, but definitely both my parents, always pushing me, my biggest supporters. When I have bad games, they're like always there for me, just to keep moving forward.
You grew up in Arlington, Massachusetts, if my memory serves me right. Obviously, fairly near to Boston, I believe.
Yeah, about like 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, I was going to say right there. Guessing you're a Red Sox guy?
Huge Red Sox fan, oh yeah.
I was going to say, I was thinking that's what that hat was. So what did it mean to you to grow up kind of in the era of the Red Sox being successful? David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Pedro Martinez, Dustin Pedroia, those kind of guys.
Yeah, I definitely like huge role models when I was a kid. In my Cape house, I remember every summer we'd watch every game during summer. I had all the posters in my room of like the players you said, like Manny, and I always looking up to them. I was fortunate enough that they had such great success, seeing them win so many games and so many championships. Definitely played a role in me loving baseball and just being so close to Boston too, being able to go see the Red Sox games, being there like for BP and watching them hit and the way they carry themselves, just made me want to do that as long as I could.
And going off of that, who was your favorite baseball player growing up? And then who was another one of your favorite athletes that was not a baseball player?
Ooh, favorite one? I would say I loved Manny Ramirez. I loved his swing. I just loved the way I remember, I forget what game exactly it was, but the walk-off home run he had once he hits it, he puts his hands up. I think that was one of my favorite Red Sox moments ever. And then probably Tom Brady would be my favorite non-baseball athlete, just the way he carries himself year in, year out. He's like 42. Like he's so old, but like he's like a perfect example of someone who, although your body can get old, your mindset doesn't. And I just love the way how every year he treats it like he's a rookie and his work ethic and doesn't let his past success like dictate his future.
It's certainly a fair answer, and I'd imagine one that a lot of people growing up in Eastern Massachusetts at your age would say.
Oh yeah.
What's a skill or maybe a fun fact about you that people might not know, something outside of baseball that Brendan Jones likes or is really good at that people wouldn't expect?
Well, you might suspect, since I live in the Northeast, I was a big hockey player as well. Actually, my town is a big hockey town. Baseball is like, it's definitely popular, but when you go to the high school here, it's like hockey's the biggest sport we have. So my dad played hockey in college, actually. So, and I got a little brother who plays hockey now. So we're definitely a big hockey family as well. So I think that might be something that no one would know.
Makes perfect sense. Again, you're near Boston, so
yeah. Oh yeah.
Tons and tons of hockey around there. What position did you play?
I was a left wing. Left wing, but could also play defense. Very similar to my baseball ways, kind of like a util guy, kind of play wherever the coach needs me to.
Makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. So your walk-up song, remind us first of all your walk-up song, and then it goes, how did you pick that?
Well, so originally it was Thuggish Ruggish Bone, and I actually just switched it, but I had heard it when we were playing against University of New Mexico this year, and one of their players had it, and I just like instantly loved it because I thought it was like not one you'd really think of. I loved the little beginning of it, and I just thought it would be cool. But I actually just changed it back to my college one, which is Soul Survivor, just because I wasn't doing great, and I'm very superstitious. So I was like, it might be time to go back. And ever since I switched it, I've been hitting a lot better. So I'm very superstitious, but I tried to switch it up for the fun of it and just summer ball. I thought it would be fun with the fans, but I had to go back to my old ways.
Is there one, going back to walk-up songs, is there one that you've been around that you think has been the best or the worst, either with the Starfires or with your time at Holy Cross?
I think Jackson Hornung, he had one that was awful. We all made fun of him for it. It was, I don't know if it was they played the wrong part or if it was just a bad song. He just changed it last game. I told him what to change it to, and then he had a 3-for-4 game with the home run and like a double and a single because he's unbelievable. But I thought his was awful at first, but it's much better now. It's loud. It gets everyone into it. So I think that was probably the worst that we had.
It's amazing. Apparently the key to hitting the ball is having the right walk-up song.
100%. It gets you in the right mindset and loosens you. I think it's a huge part of baseball because, I mean, once you tense up at the plate, everything goes south from there. So trying to be loose, have fun.
Let's talk a little bit about your time at Holy Cross. You just finished your first season there. What was something that you had happen in your first season that's helped you develop as a baseball player?
I think the biggest thing was just being around just older guys. I mean, we were a pretty young team this year. We had 14 freshmen, but, a lot of the older kids, juniors and seniors, were extremely helpful. Took all the freshmen under their wings. I mean, it's a big step going from high school to college. I mean, the velo there, everyone's faster, balls hit harder at you. And I definitely struggled a lot at first. Being an infielder, you're not used to balls coming at you so hard. So I struggled a lot with my timing with my glove. I was not getting it down soon enough, which made me very jolty when I was trying to field the ball. And then at the same time, in the field, I struggled a lot the first 2 weekends with pop-ups for the first time ever because I've never seen balls go so high in my life. But a lot of the older infielders and catchers were able to, take me aside. And also the coaches as well. I mean, they're great resources. I talked to one of the coaches, Mitch, told him that I was struggling with pop-ups, and remember one day he went out with me and just got a machine and put balls that would have hit birds in the sky, and we just worked on that for about an hour. And ever since then, that's really helped. But I think the biggest thing for me was just having the resources for the older guys who have experience with it. And also, I mean, everyone wants to be perfect all the time. And one of the leaders of the team is the senior Nate Wolf. He told me that one thing you can always do is what I try and do is pick one thing for the day. And if you do well there, have it be a good day. Because, I mean, you're going to fail so many times. So if you get up there and you go 1 for 3, good day. If you go there and you make like 2 diving plays or make all the plays in the field, that's a good day. So you're not going to be perfect everywhere all the time. So if you can just go in with a goal and try and do one good thing at a time, then it'll all come together.
I like that.
And if we transition to Westfield now, how did you end up as a player for the Starfires this summer?
So I was trying to get in the Futures. I knew I wanted to play in the Futures League because I think it's a great league. I mean, it's pretty local. A lot of great talent. I love the fans. Going to Vermont, we have great fans in Westfield that come out. All the little kids, they love us. Always asking for autographs. I think that's awesome, making me feel like I'm like important. And then, so I was trying to find a team, and Coach Denbrough and Mitch, I believe, coached in the past. That's one of the coaches from Holy Cross. And I remember he told me that they got in touch, and a spot had opened up and I was able to get on it. And I'm so fortunate for it because I have so much fun here in Westfield. But yeah, basically they just kind of talked it over, and I was able to get a spot.
One of the things that you haven't had to do yet, because we haven't played them at all, but at some point this season, we're going to be going to Worcester to play at Fitton Field, and you're going to be a visiting player for the first time in your career. After playing, it's your home field for college. Have you kind of given any thought to what that's going to be like for you going there as the road team?
I have a little bit. It's definitely going to be weird, like being on that visitor side. I feel like it's still going to feel like home, though. I mean, I'm going to be obviously away, but it's going to feel like I'm at home. I'm actually interested to see what it's going to be like with this. Like, I have a couple of teammates in the team. I think like 3 of them: Connor Peake, Sean Scanlon, and Tommy Limecore. So it'd definitely be fun playing against them. I haven't gotten to play against any of my teammates yet, so I think I'm very excited for that. But overall, I think it's going to be a great experience.
Is there one person on the Starfires this year that has stuck out to you? Maybe someone that has motivated you, took you under their wing, just someone that has impacted you in some way?
Well, I think everyone on the team, when you come in and you play with a bunch of different guys from a bunch of different places, they all have their own like views on things. So I think a lot of people have helped me in a lot of different ways. I think 2 people that stand out the most would be Jackson and Pat. I mean, everyone on the team is obviously amazing players because they wouldn't be here if there weren't. But those 2 specifically are at a higher level at the plate than I am at the moment. So I try and pick their brains all the time. Like, what are you thinking up there? Like, what are your mechanics? Because in the beginning of the year, I was a little late on a lot of things, and I was just trying to like get my timing down. So I'd always try and ask them like every time they hit, like, what are you thinking? Or where do you throw you? How does this ball move? And all that. So I picked up a lot of little like cues for myself. And I think the biggest thing has been like just like breathing, which is like something you wouldn't think about. But Jackson and Pat both say when they're up there, they're constantly like having large breaths, just like loosen their muscles and allow them to be quicker to balls. So I think them, yeah.
We've got a game coming up in July, and it's against Worcester on NESN at Bullens.
Yeah.
Growing up just outside of Boston, I'm sure you watched all the Red Sox games on NESN growing up. You probably still do. What does it mean to you to get a chance to play a game that's going to be on NESN?
I mean, that means everything. I think a couple years ago, it was either maybe 1 or 2 years ago, I think back when the Navigators won the Futures League, they also had a game on NESN. And one of my teammates now, who's on the Navigators, now that they're in the NSCBL, he was on the team, so I had watched. And I just remember watching it being like, I cannot wait till like I'm there. I want to do that. And when I saw that we're going to be able to play on NESN, I mean, that was like a dream come true. And playing against Worcester, against my teammates, I'm like so excited. I have that date circled. My entire family has the date circled. They're all going to be watching. So, I mean, we played on ESPN Plus a couple times this year at college, but being able to play on NESN, like a local channel where like my friends and family can watch, I'm like super stoked for that.
We talked a little bit about this earlier, how the Starfires in general have been off to a great start. You've been off to a great start. What has been the secret to the success for you and the team?
I think the biggest thing is, Coach Jembro, he's a very easygoing coach. And I think the biggest difference from college baseball and summer ball is I think players take so much stress away from themselves when they come to summer ball. I think a lot of the times, because the games, obviously they mean something. Like we want to win the league. But at the end of the day, like we're all just trying to get better at the same time. And so Coach Jembro has done a great job letting us know, like, hey, like wins and losses, although they do actually matter, like right now they don't. We're just trying to get comfortable. And like, if you boot a ball, so what? If you strike out, so what? Like he doesn't ask too much of you. He doesn't ask you to do anything out of your power. All he wants to do is play hard, put on a good body language, and like do the little minor things he asks of you. So I think that's a big thing. We've heard a lot of the times, like the reason why we're doing so well is because we're just so loose and everyone's having fun, making jokes, smiling. Also the team has like come together like so quickly. I mean, I think we have a great team chemistry already, and it's only going to get better as the year gets on. But I think early on, definitely just understanding that if you make a mistake, the next guy's going to pick you up. If I'm on base loaded with one out and I strike out, I fully have full confidence that Coop is going to come up and hit a double and score him in and pick me up. So I think that's definitely a big thing for us.
I've been lucky to get to travel with you guys a few times already this year, and it seems like the one thing that you guys all like as much as baseball is the game Mafia.
Yes,
every bus trip, all up and back. You guys are playing it the whole time. Who on the team, other than yourself, is the best at it, and who's the worst at it?
I think the worst at it are the Lavelle twins, because neither of them talk that much. And when you're playing Maf and someone's not talking, it's like you don't know if like they're in the Mafia because they're not talking. So it's a big, like, it makes it so much harder for everyone. So like, I think last bus trip on the way back from Nashville, they were in the front and neither one of them were talking. So like, when you're trying to figure out who's in it, it just rubs you the wrong way. And then best, that's going to be, I would say Coop is really good at Maf. I'd hate to admit it, but Jackson's good at Maf. And then I think I would say Pat's also pretty good. And they like just learned how to play, but they're just very deceptive, and it's hard to know if they're telling the truth or not. But yeah.
No, it's incredible, like watching you guys, just how animated everybody gets. It's crazy. I don't entirely understand the game. I've never actually played myself, but just seems like a lot. You guys actually even pulled Andrew in on it on the trip.
Yeah, no, he came back and played. It was awesome. He was actually really good too. He was very good at the game. He got me a bunch of times. He had a good poker face.
One other person I want to ask you about, because you've talked about having support from your teammates and having support from coaches, and there's a lot of people that people don't think about behind the scenes. And one of the people that you've gotten to know at your time at Holy Cross is Sarah Kirkpatrick, your director of athletic communications. What is the work she's done meant for you as a player and for the Holy Cross baseball team?
I mean, she works night in, night out, like harder than anyone I've ever seen. I mean, she's with the football team from the beginning of the year and they go on for months. But then when she comes to us, I mean, she you see her work ethic and what she does, and it makes you want to work just as hard in your craft. I mean, we go on a away game and she's with us, and on the way back, it'll be dark out and she has a little light on with her computer, typing in the stats, writing a report of the game and whatnot. And like just seeing how hard she works at her profession, you kind of want to do the same at your end of the job. So, I mean, I would say she inspires and motivates us, and we're grateful to have her. She's wonderful. Any requests you have, she does our walk-up songs. If you want to change it or do anything you really need, she's there for you. So, yeah, she's definitely a big unspoken hero of the team.
So one more thing I want to ask before we go. Outside of baseball, what's something in Westfield that you've really enjoyed so far in your first few weeks here?
I would say Anytime Fitness. We go there a lot, and there's a Moe's like 2 doors down. So I think the Anytime Fitness and Moe's combo, I think almost every day. I think that's something that me, Pat, Jackson, and then Wentworth, we all do together. I think we love that. And we're looking forward to this week because we have a couple 10:30 games. We're going to go golfing, which is be super fun. And I know there's a Six Flags pretty close to Westfield, and I'm looking forward to going there one day. So I've never been there. So I'm looking forward to that, definitely.
Six Flags, definitely a good time.
Yeah, 100%.
Big roller coaster guy?
Yeah, I love that thrill. I mean, I don't like the feeling in my stomach, but when it's over, I like love it. So it's like, I'm excited. I've only been to Candy Lake Park, and I hear like Six Flags is like 10 times better than that.
I've actually had the chance to go up to Canopy. I'm a big fan of water parks, but
Six
Flags is definitely, growing up here in Western Mass, Six Flags is definitely a thing that you did every summer. It's I think you're going to enjoy it. Just don't bring the baseball bat with you. It doesn't really work on the roller coaster.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, Brendan, it's been awesome having you on here. Really appreciate you taking the time. It's been good to get to know you and good to watch you play. Looking forward to seeing more of you this season as the Starfires hopefully continue this great run, 8-3 to start the season.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Had a great time.
That is Brendan Jones from the College of the Holy Cross and the Westfield Starfires. Episode 3 of the BullensMagic Podcast. Keep your eyes peeled because we're going to have plenty more this summer.